buzz echoes around the seaside suburb of Tel Aviv.
We must bring tourists from all over the world to see the world's ugliest building.
The Nahum Tower was just crowned by users of the social news aggregation website Reddit with this dubious title, to the amusement of the creator's son.
I was surprised and laughed. The title I would give to this building is that it has been designed and built before its time. It was a kind of unlucky building because of what happened with the developer, and this was built just up to here, half size, and the 4 towers on the back of the building, of the complex, hasn't been built at all. There was not air conditioning whatsoever on that time. So now you see all those small spots on the facade.
Daniel Greenhouse's father, Marion, was a Holocaust survivor. His love of architecture started in the Warsaw ghetto, where he took measurements of existing basements.
This was one of the first of his projects. The style was brutalism, exposing the concrete, exposing the inner side of the building. The building is what we call today mixed usages. The floors on the bottom were commercial floors containing cinemas and shops. It was the first time in Israel. People were not ready for that.
These are the brutalist buildings designed and built in Tel Aviv during the 1950s and 60s.
Brutalism, an architectural style born out of World War II's devastation in the UK, when the order of the day was to build quickly, functionally, and cheaply. A pessimist trend spread around the world, both capitalist and socialist. We are not here to please you, but to tell the truth would become the brutal motto of brutalism.
Brutalism says in your face, that's what we want.
The material of predilection, the exposed bare concrete or béton brut, hence its name. Jeremy Hoffman heads the conservation department at Tel Aviv municipality. He co-wrote a book on brutalism in Israel. He hardly conceals his passion for the aesthetics of the rough and ready.
One of my favorites, this synagogue, which has a massive concrete roof that sits as if gliding atop 2 bare, flat, stone-coated masses. Brutalism was a very direct, cheap, functional, and simple tool, which in a way resembled the Israeli-born Sabra persona. Tough on the outside, sweet on the inside, like the endemic prickly pear, a new type of Jew, a Zionist who fought for the country, who built it. Suddenly, infrastructure had to be built for hundreds of thousands of immigrants.
Tel Aviv's made of layers upon layers. The eclectic styles of the 1920s, a mix of Art Deco with an Oriental twist, the purist, pristine white Bauhaus style of the 30s, the brutalist rebellion against embellishments. Over 300 such buildings adorn the white city with shades of gray. Apart from dwelling, brutalist buildings serve many purposes. Israel's first skyscraper was once proudly branded as the Middle East's tallest tower. Public buildings like City Hall, Tel Aviv's district court, museums, auditoriums, hotels, the Likud party's headquarters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the National Trade Union Center. No wonder so many people hate the style.
It reminds people of a time that wasn't that simple. The first years of the state were tough years of change, the loss of identity, the formation of a new identity. These were years fought for survival, and brutalism represents this time, recalls memories that are not yet processed.
Some are slated for preservation, like this edifice, which Marion Greenhouse helped design. After all, beauty hides in the beast.
There are qualities in this style of architecture that no longer exist, that can't be recreated. It's like DNA architecture. Once one hotel room is designed, it's multiplied all over the edifice. True brutalism isn't simple. It's hard to live in it, a bit inhuman, schematic, outsized. People need historical references, nostalgia. Maybe that's what's missing here. But I think that as long as we preserve it, it'll become nostalgic.
So how is it to live in the entrails of his grayness? We meet Mary on the ground floor. She leads us to her studio on the second floor, a room with a view.
It's disgusting and insulting. I've been living here for 40 years. I raised my children here. It's truly insulting. My siblings call me from all over the country. I told them that's what it is.
But bad publicity ain't always bad.
So, in the world's ugliest building, there are original 3-room apartments that are so large that they've been turned into 4 rooms. Prices vary between $500,000 to $700,000.
It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The whole world comes to see it, right? Now come admire the world's ugliest building. It pays.
Pierre Klochendler, I-24 News, Bat Yam, Israel.